I'm so glad you made it today, but hold on. Let me get this light. Need more lighting in here. Lightening or lighting? Um, Speaking of lightning, wow, was it bad last night? We're just getting round upon round of storms here in Cleveland. You know, typically when it gets hot, you get one big major cold front that sweeps all the warm air away, clears everything up in the atmosphere, high pressure, dry air, sunny conditions. But rained uh last night. It's raining today. That's what happens. What's happening right now. But getting to the main topic today, we're gonna talk about some winter hints. I want to tell you that Nino 3-4, which is in the equatorial Pacific West and Central, it's over the charts hot, and that's what you want it hot for a cold winter. Um, Not a lot of people are catching this, but because we're in a super El Nino, and even more so because we have a Mordecai with the super El Nino, which is pretty rare. Usually, super El Ninos are just all around, cross to cross the ocean warm because they're just super El Ninos. They're overpowering. But we have Nino 3-4 very hot, incomparably hot to Nino's 1-2, I would imagine, because it's off the charts. So very strong cold signal for the winter. Following that, the European model is now catching on with the Jamstick and the Canadian on a cold winter. So we're starting to see some alignment here. Let's go right to that. Oh, joke for the day. Kind of hysterical, I think. But we broke our streak of snowless days in the USA. We have this one little speck of isolated snowfall here in Montana. I'm kind of done. I usually want to stick to my guns on things, but we might stop doing this because it's getting inconsistently incoherent. So, oh well. If it snows, God bless you all if you like the snow in those areas. But if it doesn't, it is what it is. All right. So switching gears of topics. Next 45 days looks like a blowtorch of heat in the Midwest, and a meteorologist said this looks like 1930 heat. Professional meteorologist. So nothing to kid around here there. But here's even more so concerning to me is the drought potential. And I asked a question yesterday. I said I would follow up in this video. I did some digging. Does the Midwest have droughts? Now, in my digging, I didn't dig into whether historically they have droughts, but I did what the forecast is off NOAA, based off our current situation. And they're finally starting to catch on. This is August. Wildfire potential outlook. They're catching on to what I've been saying. So there's some validity to what I've been saying about I'm very worried about wildfires in the Midwest because there's going to be so much dry air and heat. Now, this is going to extend northward. It's going to extend every area in the Midwest mostly. I'm very concerned with wildfires in the Midwest this year. Please be careful. Those are, in my opinion, one of the worst or top 5 deadliest weather occurrences out there. And I'm giving you a heads up. So you can call it a heads up because you might want to start looking into this and preparing because that is something to note if you're in those areas. Because it's just like a hurricane forecast. You want to know where it's going to hit so you can avoid casualties and property damage, etc. Now, of course, we're talking mostly saving lives, not property damage that can always be replaced. But this is very concerning, this picture right here. I want to go into the Euro model now, continuing in our winter hint, which is now coming into alignment with our other models, which I've been sticking to. So we've seen our Canadian. Now let's look at our European seasonal, which includes our winter monthly temperature anomalies. We're going to take it month by month, fast skimming through the summer. July is like this, August. So forecasting a hot summer, give it that inconsistency, but with the other modeling that is. But as we head into December, into January, look at that. starts to cool off a little bit. Not only that, we're left with a block in the NIO region. With a block, that really increases our chances for nor'easters in the northeast. So that is the second thing I want to get into, is our pressure pattern in the middle layers of the atmosphere. And we're going to look at our upper air heights. So this is January. As you can see, this is not only a negative NAO, but we have our subtropical jet due to the El Nino flow down south. Now, there's many years this looks like. 1998 is one. Honestly, that's the top one in my opinion, just looking at this. But again, we're kind of flipping that on its head, because the amount of warmth of the winter of 1998 was not a Mordecai El Nino. This is going to be a Mordecai, so we're in for something we've really never seen before. And with that being said, we have a whole lot of troughing down here in the south and in the west. And this just says nor'easter, watch out northeast. Because if we look at a precip, this kind of shows the evidence of that. Let's go to our monthly anomalies. Look at that. That's like straight into the northeast precip from the source region of the Atlantic Ocean. As I said, December is going to be a bad month. February is going to be the worst. January is going to be a bad month as well. This is probably going to be our nor'easter month of the year, January. We look at December. Again, we have the same thing. Nor'easter, like I've been saying, winter this year. So yeah, we have a lot of things going in favor of a cold and snowy winter. We have Nino 3-4 going off the charts in warmth, which is what you want for a cold winter, very cold winter, especially when it's that extreme. The more extreme, the better in terms of having Nino 3-4 warm. We did break our snow streak, just to recap and review this update. Don't know if I'm going to do that anymore. I might not. Probably won't. Wildfire question from yesterday's update is answered. Yes, the Midwest is prone to get wildfires if the situation sets up for it. So that kind of answers the whole question, whether that we had it historically or not, or forecasted to have it in the next several months. So be on your guard if you're in the Midwest looking for wildfires. We also looked at the European, which is now catching cold, aligning with the Canadian and the Jamstack, who are also forecasting a very cold winter. And then last but not least, this kind of is my pinpoint summary high point of the video, is this, our pressure. Let's get to our pressure. Hold on, upper air heights is what I want. So we're going to go to our 500 millibars. And again, I'm seeing something that the model was not predicting a couple updates ago, which is very evidential of a nor'easter storm track, because you have your subjet here in the blue, and then you have a block here in the northeast, which again would suppress storms that if they were to go into the Atlantic, they would curve west. And they would be more amplified than usual because of the block there. The block suppresses it, makes that energy suppressed, and it just densifies it. It builds it up, pound for pound, so to speak. January, again, another big nor'easter month. Because again, we have that block and we have a very active subtropical jet, but look how strong the block is here in the northeast. So again, we have a perfect setup for a nor'easter winter. So that is your hint. There's a lot of things I gave away to you guys here, but I believe this winter is going to be a huge nor'easter winter. On top of that, we have a lot of models now coming into alignment for a cold winter. So that's what I'm expecting, is a cold winter. Personally, that's what my thoughts are, but the models have their own thoughts, but we're coming into alignment. So again, Tyler's World of Weather. If you enjoyed this update, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more long-range weather content. Thank you.